All right, today we're going to take a journey deep inside the human skull to explore the incredible, kind of hidden systems that guard our most precious organ, the brain. It's a whole world in there, membranes, chambers, and a special fluid that keeps everything running smoothly.
But first, I've got a question for you, and it's a bit of a weird one. Your brain weighs about 1,400 grams. That's roughly 3 pounds. So what actually stops this incredibly delicate, almost jelly-like organ from just collapsing under its own weight inside your skull? Well, the answer is a total masterpiece of biological engineering.
So, let's set the scene. You've got the soft, super important brain tissue, and then wrapped around it you have the hard, rigid bone of the skull. Now you'd think that's a recipe for disaster, but in between those two is this whole hidden world of protection that we are about to explore layer by fascinating layer.
Okay, let's start from the outside and work our way in. The brain's first line of defense, right after the skull, is a set of 3 really remarkable membranes.
Together, they're called the meninges. The outermost one is the dura, which in Latin literally means tough mother. And trust me, it is. Right underneath that, you have the arachnoid mater, or spider-like mother, and it gets its name from these cool web-like extensions. And then finally, hugging the brain itself is the pia mater, the tender mother.
This diagram really shows you how it all stacks up. See that tough dura mater? That's pressed right up against the skull. Then, below that, the arachnoid layer creates this really important space with its webby structures. And finally, that super delicate pia mater lies directly on the brain's surface. It's like a multi-layered security system.
Now, let's go even deeper. You know, the inside of the brain isn't just a solid mass of tissue. It's actually hollowed out by this amazing series of interconnected cavities, and we call them ventricles.
The best way to think about it is like a pathway or a plumbing system. It all starts with 2 big lateral ventricles, one in each half of the brain. From there, they connect to the single third ventricle in the center through a little opening called the foramen of Monro. Then, a skinny little canal, the aqueduct of Sylvius, leads down to the 4th ventricle, which sits right there in the brainstem.
And here you can see the whole system in 3D. I know, it looks super complex, right? But you can actually trace that path we just talked about. See those 2 big C-shaped structures at the top? Those are the lateral ventricles. This whole intricate network is designed to hold and circulate a very special fluid we're about to meet.
So, we have the outer linings and we have the inner chambers. Now it's time to introduce the real star of the show, the fluid that travels through this entire amazing system.
It's called cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF for short. And yeah, it's pretty much what it sounds like, a clear, watery fluid. But don't let its simple appearance fool you. It has some incredibly important jobs to do.
So, where does it all begin? Well, the journey starts inside these structures called the choroid plexuses. You can see one highlighted right here. It's this dense little bundle of special capillaries inside the ventricles that are constantly, 24/7, producing fresh CSF.
Okay, so from its birthplace, the CSF starts flowing along that pathway we saw. When it gets all the way down to the 4th ventricle, it slips out through a few small openings into what's called the subarachnoid space. That's the space right under the arachnoid mater. And just like that, it's not just inside the brain anymore, it's on the outside, completely surrounding and bathing the entire brain and spinal cord.
But of course, the journey has to end somewhere, right? This fluid is constantly being reabsorbed back into your bloodstream. It happens through these amazing little structures called arachnoid villi. They're like these tiny finger-like projections that poke from the subarachnoid space directly into the big veins that run through the dura mater. It's a perfect balancing act of production and absorption.
So, we've seen the how of this fluid's journey. But what about the why? I mean, why does the brain go to all this trouble?
Well, first and foremost, protection. The CSF is basically a liquid cushion. If you bump your head, this fluid layer helps absorb the shock, stopping your soft brain from slamming into your hard skull. It's your own, built-in, natural helmet. But it has another function that is frankly mind-blowing, and it's the answer to our question from the very beginning. Let's just look at the numbers.
The actual weight of an average adult brain, if you were to just put it on a scale, is about 1,400 grams. That is a lot of weight for such a soft structure to have to support. But, and get ready for this, when that exact same brain is floating in cerebrospinal fluid, its effective weight plummets to just 25 grams. That's a reduction of over 97%. Just incredible. So, the second crucial job is buoyancy. Your brain is literally floating inside your head. Without this, the brain's own weight would just crush the blood vessels at its base, which would cut off blood supply and kill brain cells. This buoyancy isn't just cool, it is absolutely essential for our survival.
And last but not least, the CSF is basically the brain's sanitation department. As your brain cells are working hard all day long, they're producing metabolic waste. Well, it's the CSF that circulates through and flushes all those toxins out of the brain tissue, keeping everything clean.
And you know what? This cleaning function is turning out to be way more important than we ever imagined. It really highlights just how delicate and absolutely vital this whole system is. And this part is just fascinating. The source material points out that one of the specific waste products getting cleared out is something called beta amyloid. This is a protein that actually builds up in the brain while we're awake, and it's specifically flushed out by that cerebrospinal fluid, the CSF, while we sleep.
And that leaves us with a really important question to think about. If this incredible fluid is our brain's nightly cleaning crew, working its hardest to clear out all that metabolic junk like beta amyloid, what do you think the long-term consequences are when we consistently don't get enough sleep? It's definitely something to ponder.